the tech world, Cybervergent has put out a quarterly brief where they're looking at some of the vulnerabilities in the cybersecurity world. So we've got Gbolabo Awelewa, who is the Chief Solutions Officer at Cybervergent. He joins us now to define exactly what we're looking at on the screen. You're very welcome, sir. Good morning to you. So look, I do like that acronym, the assessments that you've put out there. And there's some technical terms in terms of vulnerabilities. I guess before we even begin, maybe to summarize the report, your report is basically telling folks who read it and your clients that there are vulnerabilities in the online setups for their structures, and so they got to know what to watch for.
Yes,
yeah?
Exactly. So it's what we've called over time. So from say Q1 to the end of Q2, over 6 months, on activities on the threat landscape, vulnerabilities have been identified, and what controls to put in place to ensure you mitigate or you are not hit by those vulnerabilities.
Fantastic. All right, so let's take it, I guess, one by one. If we put up that list one more time, I'll just have you quickly run through each of them. So broken access control, what is that?
Okay, so broken access control is, the inability of, say, web applications or web platforms to be able to restrict access to users or limit access to user roles, depending on the kind of privilege they should have. And the effect of this is an authorized user typically would have access to, say, sensitive data or be able to carry out misconfiguration on systems that they shouldn't have. So I'll give you an example, say a fintech, for example, and they don't have an effective access control system, and maybe malicious or disgruntled staff has access to be able to modify the business logic of the application and be able to stretch resources and be able to possibly even carry out fraud. So it's really critical to ensure an effective access control system is in place.
Fantastic. All right, the next one is improper input sanitization. I think sanitization, cleaning stuff up. So you're talking about, so help us out with that.
Okay, so improper input sanitization speaks to, inputs from the user.
Okay.
And it's the lack of, there's no mechanism in place for you to be able to validate or sanitize the input of users to not impact your systems negatively.
So what's going in?
Yeah.
Okay.
So funny enough, the analogy that I want to use might be a bit controversial, but it's interesting. You like it. So look at the Bolt situation that happened.
Yeah.
So input was coming from Nigeria and going to South Africa. If there were some form of geolocation controls in place, that if I get traffic, leveraging on data, I'm getting traffic from Nigeria through the app, and it's going to be putting to a South African address from a South African address.
Right.
And it's coming from Nigeria. This is not right. Don't allow it.
Okay.
So immediately you click search, or it shouldn't let you. So basically what they didn't do there is it wasn't sanitized, and the traffic was validated, and all that ruckus could happen. But
we're also taking into cognizance that people travel, and so, but then when you're traveling, that request is coming from within the country where you are.
Simple use case, you're traveling, now you want your card to work in the US. You go to the mobile app or call your bank.
Yeah.
I'm traveling, please let my card work abroad.
Gotcha.
So the control is in place in the financial system already.
Gotcha.
Same thing can apply to
That is
both.
a very, very good
I know.
analogy. No rate limiting. What's that? What is no rate limiting?
So no rate limiting is critical because it's today, cyber platforms, web applications, they get a lot of traffic. And to guide against the denial of service, you need to ensure traffic is legitimate. So rate limiting is having a mechanism in place for you to be able to set limits or rate or restrict specific access to user requests before you process it.
Okay.
So you need to know that.
Because fraud can come through there.
Exactly.
Okay.
So, and I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
The rate limiting effect applies to the Bolt situation. I take traffic, but this traffic is coming from Nigeria for a South African address. Come on, don't waste my time.
Right.
Drop it.
Right. Gotcha. All right, this one looks pretty sexy. XSS injections, what is that?
Okay, so XSS injection literally is cross-site scripting.
Okay.
And this happens when input validation is not done properly.
Okay.
So if you don't validate or sanitize your input, it can lead to an injection of malicious code to web applications and can be executed on the web browser. And typically when this happens, sessions can be hijacked, critical data can be stolen, confidential information, sensitive information to either commit fraud or to literally deface or redirect traffic of a specific transaction to a malicious site.
Gotcha.
So it's critical.
Then, this one doesn't sound too technical. Information disclosure, is that on the user with how much they be put out there, or what will help us with the
Okay,
information?
so information disclosure is, so I have a web platform, I have a system, and I think it's important the kind of information I disclose to a possible unauthorized user. And I'll give you a very typical example. If a hacker or a malicious actor wants to try to get credentials of someone, I can put, say, Gbolabo as a username. If the error message that comes back tells me invalid username, I know I got it wrong, I'll try another one. But if the error message just says can't access or invalid username and password, then you're making it variable, so you're not sure whether it's the username or password. But if the error comes back and say invalid password, then I'm sure username is correct. I just need to go and look for a password. Maybe I'll send a dictionary attack towards that traffic. And it just keeps me a step closer to be able to breach. So at times you just don't, or you see some applications, it will literally show you the server, the web server of the organization.
Yeah.
And from there, the bad actor can now go to the web and try to access, even though they can't log onto the platform, and maybe create a denial of service or take it down. So, you want to be careful with the kind of data you are disclosing that would expose your infrastructure or your customers.
Fantastic. All right, we got 5 minutes to go. So we've got 5 trends here to look out for in Q2 and beyond. So maybe we can do a minute each. The first one, data breaches. That sounds pretty self-explanatory. And what you're saying that this is still something to look out for in the future, data breaches.
So the most exciting gigs we got this year, so for us it's work and it's exciting, have been data breaches from critical customers. And data breaches would continue, would be more persistent,
we're seeing that.
And would grow. Interestingly, we're approaching the ember period. So a lot of schemes will come up, a lot of events, a lot of programs that would lead to, in fact, a lot of entities will be rushing to go to the market without considering cybersecurity. And that would expose their platforms or even their programs.
So now is the time to be really careful.
Now is the time to plan well.
Cloud security challenges.
Cloud.
Because everybody's hyping up cloud. Like cloud is the be all and end all.
Everybody is moving to cloud.
Yeah.
So legacy systems are moving to cloud. Of course, the average fintech or the new SMEs are leveraging cloud. Cloud providers are giving free infrastructure, so people are starting with cloud. But there's a rush to the cloud, but there are no security considerations. So it's critical that the architecture of your cloud infrastructure, what security considerations, how do you access the cloud? Is it in a secure manner? So it's a continuous process. Plan from a secure perspective, build to last.
This is another big one. Identity attacks.
So the identity attacks won't end.
They'll continue forever. Yeah.
And I would give you a very simple one. The recent WhatsApp one. I'm sure 1 in every 10 Nigerians has received a call that, from this WhatsApp group, and there's a meeting, or we need you to join. And they say if you see a code and you're expected to give them the code and they hijack your WhatsApp, you might not even know. They've stolen your identity. They're sending messages to different groups, lobbying for money, asking for favors. People thinking it's you, money's go. It's going on. It still happened to someone 2 days ago. It will continue to happen. More will happen as events are coming up.
Gotcha,
we need to be, careful.
Okay, well, this is the topic in of itself. It's what we discussed. But you also put increase in vulnerabilities. The vulnerabilities we broke down, the XSS injections, and so on and so forth. So that's another thing that is a trend going forward.
Yeah. So basically, more attack vectors will come up. There'll be more attack vectors, whether it's from the typical small app to a logistic app to every solution. So basically, it's like telling every developer that once you're developing your solution, ensure your customers or users, access it, leveraging multiple factor authentication, encrypt your data effectively, secure your customer data. Just have effective controls in place. Cybersecurity shouldn't be an afterthought anymore. It's like insurance.
Yeah.
Have controls in place just in case.
Fantastic. Talk to us about social engineering. What's that? When you say social, within what context are you talking about social engineering?
Okay, so social engineering comes in different ways. So either in trying to get information to be able to breach systems, trying to get information to be able to access an infrastructure and environment, or trying to just get critical information that would give me additional information that would lead to an end. The outcomes of social engineering might lead to maybe stolen data, identity theft, a denial of service, a misrepresentation of an entity, hijacking people's accounts. Leveraging, as it starts from social media.
Yeah.
You click on a file, you open it, it takes over your account, and someone is misrepresenting you. So with social media, with social engineering, a lot of damage can be done.
Hey, great reports. Thank you so much for taking the time to come talk to us.
Gbolabo
Awelewa, Chief Solutions Officer at Cybervergent. We're looking forward to your next report, please. When the next one comes out, come join us again and talk about it.
Definitely.
Thanks for your time.